Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is TWiT Live Special number 245, recorded April 14th, 2015. NAB, Day 2. This TWiT Live Special of NAB is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. With over 52 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 20% off image subscription packages on your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code TWiT415. On the internet, there are two types of people. There are content producers and content consumers. Well, here at NAB 2015 in Las Vegas, Nevada, we've got both types for NAB 2015. The TWiT Brick House runs on a TriCaster. It's the lifeblood of our studio. We've got a TC8000 in there that powers everything. Every piece of video that you see, every segment comes through NewTek. Well, we're here at the NewTek booth, and I'm standing next to Jorge Digoro, who's going to explain to us what NewTek has done for those who want to do a talk show. Jorge, thank you very much for talking to us.
Please, it's a pleasure to be here. And I mean, talk show is something very, very, very exciting, because what it's going to allow you to do is for the first time to have broadcast quality, process within Skype. So the way that talk show works is Microsoft has developed an application called Skype TX. Skype TX is basically Skype for broadcasters. And every single thing that broadcasters were wishing for is implemented into this box. So if you want, we can go very quickly to the interface. And what we're going to see is that we can, within talk show, have SDI in, SDI out, Genlock. We can have audio analog line through XLR. We have SDI embedded audio. We have Dante support for basically IP audio support. We also have the capability to do recording directly into the system itself. We have talkback, so the producer can be talking back to the interviewer in a complete different audio track from the one being processed from the call. And one of the very interesting things about talk show is this. What happens if I'm with Skype, you are with Skype, we start a conversation, but I ask you why our conversation is not good? Your answer would be, I have no idea. My answer would be, I have no idea either, because that's what happened. You assume if you have a good bandwidth, then the communication is going to be good. But there are other aspects that are going to determine not necessarily to be true. So one of the beautiful things about Skype TX is this. We can go into this great column that we see here and get all the statistic about this call. So why this is so important? Sometimes you can have very, very good bandwidth, but the transport of that call maybe is not being done in the best way. So what happens, I can have 10 meg up, 10 meg down. I'm going to say, oh, my Skype call is going to be great. But then I realize that my transport, for example, is on TCP on relay, which means the signal is going to be bouncing from a big number of routers, and it's going to make that call not the best and the optimal. So the very, very important thing about here is that I can identify those things. Let's put another example. Now I identify that I'm in a good connection, yet the video quality is still not good. And I ask myself, how? I had good bandwidth, I have UDP transport for this connection, yet the video quality is not good. What can I do? I go to this little, basically, window here, and I can see the CPU usage of the remote computer. So then I notice that remote computer, the CPU is at 100%. So I ask the person being interviewed, I'm sorry, sir, do you have 20 windows opens on, on your computer? Probably he told you yes, and I have Call of Duty open as well. So can you close some applications? And suddenly you can see the video increasing. So on one end, we have all the diagnostics tools to know if there is a problem, where that problem is. And why is that important? Because then I can take actions in order to, solve that problem. And then on the other end, we can process the signal from that call like nobody else, because all the I/O, the input and output that our box uses the same hardware that is used on the TriCaster. And we all know how good, we process video. So our scalers, our FPGAs are the same use on our TriCasters. So what that means is when I do a call, I bring the Skype call in, and then we take that video, we take that audio, process it through our I/O cards, and obviously that allowing to have a very, very good quality connection.
One of the things we've been bodging together our own Skype system for the longest time, essentially taking 4 boxes, routing them in, mix minus through a soundboard in order to get proper calling. But this, if it could give it to us not just in one panel, but also give us the diagnostics so that we can tell one of our guests, look, the problem's on your end, or the problem's at our end, that's absolutely invaluable.
Another very, very important thing, let's look at this. I have this setup with several boxes, but the one that you are seeing here, this is a Skype call, from my computer. We have basically a webcam here into my notebook, into a talk show. And you can see that the quality is quite good. But what if I connect a talk show to a talk show? Why that is important? Remember that I mentioned what talk show has? SDI in. So what happens if I connect an SDI camera into a talk show connected to another talk show? This is going to allow me to have a connection up to 3 megabit. And because the compression used is H.264, this equals, if we transfer to like a typical MPEG-2, almost like a 6 megabit, and the equivalent of MPEG-2 encoding. So we are looking at basically computer to talk show, but let's see what happens when we do talk show to talk show. This is Skype. Look at the quality that we are getting in here. So we have a lot of networks that wants basically the boxes in the headquarters, but all the affiliates to also have Skype boxes in order to do connections in between Skype at this quality. This is quite remarkable.
All right, thank you very much for talking to us. Now, if they want to find out more about NewTek, they want to find out more about Talk Show, where can they go on the internet to find out more?
Absolutely. Definitely www.newtek.com. Our website has just been completely relaunched with all the news about, NAB 2015. So definitely the best place to go to learn more about Talk Show.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer. This is NewTek's their Talk Show. And if you're using Skype, without this Skype, well, you ain't connecting at all. One of the trends that we've seen here at NAB is that it's no longer enough to take good video, good pictures. You need to have a product that's going to stream, which is why we're here at the Panasonic booth, and I'm standing next to Mr. John Rhodes, who's going to explain what Panasonic is doing to stream your high-quality video. John, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Father.
Now, we've got a couple of products here that integrate with LiveU, that integrate with Panasonic's own P2 Share. Tell me, why are you doing this? What trend are you addressing?
Well, I think the general trend is that people need to be able to shoot video, high-quality video, anywhere and get it back to their the central location or to their audience at a relatively low cost, but also with a very smooth workflow. I think is really the main thing because these days things happen very quickly. The staffing is limited, budgets are limited, and the reach of just about everybody is no longer just within their own building, it's around the world.
John, the odd thing is we're actually doing that right now. In fact, if someone's watching our stream, if they're watching the download, it came over a LiveU unit. We went from our camera to the LiveU back to the studio so that they could edit it very, very quickly. But you've got a couple of different solutions. Drive me through the LiveU / Panasonic version.
Okay, well, the LiveU obviously has been around for a little while. It works very well for for the full bandwidth rapid workflow. What we're doing also is working with proxy. So that you can get low bandwidth feeds back to your studio. The director back there could say, "Wait, we didn't get that take just the way we want to do it again," or take this slightly different camera angle. And then when they've got the shot they want, even if they don't have full bandwidth streaming, then they can FTP the file back. So there's a very flexible workflow. Just based on whatever your particular situation is. We don't say you only have to do it one way, a LiveU or one-way FTP. We've got a variety of solutions depending on what your needs are.
And what would be the difference between a LiveU, which aggregates various cell carriers so that I can get a high bandwidth pipe back to my studio, versus, say, Panasonic's P2 Share?
Okay, well, the P2 Share really is more of an infrastructure, which allows you to store and distribute in terms of the workflow, so that you can, for instance, archive your either your proxies or your main footage on the server in the cloud, to distribute that, to have the studio people work with the people in the field, to modify or select shots, and even eventually to do facial recognition based on the content in the server. So that's really as the capabilities evolve, that infrastructure will evolve, and we're looking really to what you're going to be able to do in the future.
All right. Well, now, we really don't need to talk about pricing right now because a lot of these products are still coming out. They're still getting integrated with these various sharing services. But what would you expect to see in, say, the next 5 years as more and more content producers come online, as they all realize that they could stream back to a central studio and simplify their workflow? What do you want to see in the field?
Okay, well, there's two aspects of that. One is actually mobilely out in the field, like the 270 camera that you can carry right now, which is in that $5,000-$6,000 range, and you can do live streaming from the field with that. You can do FTP, you can do all the workflows I was talking about. But also, back in the facility, we have cameras that are pan-tilt cameras that match the same capabilities, that are able to stream directly, from the pan-tilt camera, be able to be managed. So if you were doing a multi-location event, you could have one person managing both the in-facility cameras and the shoulder mount and the handheld cameras anywhere in the world.
John Rhodes, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. And maybe your next project will go live. The story at NAB has definitely been drones, multi-rotors, multi-copters, quadcopters. And we're here at Yuneec. It's probably the biggest drone company that you've never heard of. Yet Yuneec, spelled with a Y, is actually the second largest manufacturer of multi-rotor craft in the world, behind DJI. And they've got some pretty sweet gear. I'm here with Sean Phillips, who's going to tell us a little bit about the Typhoon and the Tornado, two quadcopters that may be next on your list. Sean, thank you very much for talking to us.
Happy to be here, and welcome to our booth here at NAB. Just to give you a little more background on Yuneec, we've actually been a company that's been around since 1999. And we come out of the electric aviation space. We, in fact, have made manned aircraft, two-seater electric aircraft, and now we're scaling it down into this new realm, whether it's Typhoon or Tornado. This is my first interview ever in my life with a man of the cloth, so I'm a little nervous, but I'll try to do nothing that gets in the way of any higher power. But we're trying to get closer with our drones a little higher into the air as well, so let me tell you about the Tornado and the Typhoon. Let's start with what we're trying to do overall. We're trying to create the simplest to fly, easy out-of-box products. Highly modular. I have in my hand a ground system. So effectively, we're making aerial and ground imaging solutions. You can have an aircraft like this one flying in the back. It has this exact same camera on it. I can take great quality video. I bring it down to the ground. I use the same exact camera and gimbal system. I pop it onto my Steadicam, and I can use this as a running, shooting, very steady photography platform. Whether we're using a 2K or a 4K camera on board, it's the exact same system. The other thing I think it's worth talking about is if you look, all of our controllers always have a screen built in. So what we're trying to do with the ground control unit is make it super simple. You don't need anything except for what you get out of the box to fly the puppy. And when you're flying, you can see that control screen. It has some things built in that make it easy for the user. There's a camera button. There's a video button. So you can start and stop video, start and stop pictures while flight. You don't have to, as in the traditional, like 6 months ago, a long time ago in drone life, you would actually have had to start videoing when you start flying. So a lot of features now with the consumer in mind, with the idea that we want to make these things easy to fly. people don't want to be expert flyers. They want to be expert photographers, and that's where we're aiming to go.
Sean, one of the things that I really like about your approach is it's modular. If someone wanted to go from the 2K to a 4K camera, they don't replace the entire drone, they replace the camera module. I also love the fact that you've got so much functionality built into the remote. There's a screen right there so you can actually see the output from the camera. Right. It gives you telemetry. It gives you complete control over not just the craft, but where the camera is pointed. Right. Let me ask you about pricing and availability, because I know our audience is going to want to know that.
Yeah, so our unit right now that is the Q500 Plus, the one you see flying, has been out in the market a few months and getting great feedback, so it's available today. We'll be launching the 4K version within about a month, so that's also going to be a higher-end camera. You asked about pricing, so the introductory unit's at around $1,300 today. That's gets you everything you need to fly. One of the things we do in all of our units is we just put 2 batteries in, because you're going to run out of your first battery and you're going to go, darn, I can't fly until I go back and charge for 5 hours. No, we just start with the idea that we want to give you a complete product that's ready to use.
And that's just being honest. Rather than dinging them for a $150 battery pack later, you put it in the box. That's for a smaller 4-rotor craft. Right. But you've also got these huge monsters over here, which are for more professional photography. Yep. Tell me a little bit about them.
Great. So these are our Tornadoes. If you want to, we can just move a little bit this way, and you'll see them behind you. The Tornado is a hexcopter, but we've done a lot of the same modularity on board. So whether you have it with your hex mode here flying, you can take that same camera gimbal system, take it off, and you can see right there we got the 2-handed steady grip. It's the exact same system. You don't have to buy a new camera or a new gimbal. The controller has the same thing. Oh, this is like infinite looping if we go back and forth. This controller allows you to control the craft both from a flying perspective, or if you want to take, as I said, 1 click for photography, 1 click for video. It has a lot of neat stuff built in that you have a bigger antenna on this because you want to have downlink video direct with that. You are able to control both let's just control the camera. I'm making it go up and down from here. Or if you want to, a lot of people for serious video are now getting 2 of these. You'll have 1 person flying the craft and a second person who's doing the actual control of the video. That way you can get the perfect shot you want. What you're seeing over here at the end is another unit, still with the same Tornado flying system, but with that you have that very cool big ball gimbal. That's actually an 18x zoom, the industry's first flying 18x zoom digital camera. So you can do very good shots of things that are far away and zoom in close. And so that's more of a security or surveillance, or people do pipeline analysis where you're fairly far away but you want to zoom in on something fairly small.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but pricing and availability on these, obviously they're much more professional, they're much bigger. What are they looking at?
Yeah, so we're still making these, I think, from a video, from where you were, let's say, even a year ago, at $25,000. These are pretty easy to use price points at about $5K for the unit without the camera. Actually, and Brian was just demonstrating, one of the things we've done now is made it, even the struts are foldable. It's pretty small to pack in. I can just come over here and show you real quick. You just unscrew this, fold it down, and away you go. All right, so your form factor, but it's still very solidly built. You can see this is a carbon fiber frame. Very solidly built, lightweight, under 5 kilos. Not so important in the US, but in Europe, there's a 5 kilo limit on certain application crafts, so we built it to just be under 5 kilos.
Sean, thank you so very much for showing us what Yuneec has to offer. Could you please tell our audience where they can find more information online about your products?
Yeah, the best place to go is Yuneec.com, and you can actually see it probably in the video behind me, the big Yuneec. That's Yuneec.com. We're also on many Facebook and YouTube at Yuneec APV, so there's a lot of information out there, and we welcome anybody who's taking video with our products to send it back to us. One of the cool things is we're creating a community of videographers, and really excited to grow this cool industry with all of our friends. Thanks so much.
High quality, fun to fly. That's Yuneec. You could probably guess that this TWiT Live special is brought to you by Shutterstock. Now, you've seen Shutterstock on our network. They're a very strong advertiser. And I know that you understand what Shutterstock is. It's high-quality vectors, illustrations, video clips, basically anything you need to create your creative composition. But did you know that they've got the labs? Now, this is something that I've really enjoyed here at the booth. The labs give you different tools so that you can finish your composition even quicker. Now, in this particular one, this is my favorite. This is Palette. We already know that they've got a huge library of things. So let's say I want to refine by keyword. I could type in hippo. So I'm looking for, something for cranky hippo. Well, it's not just that it's going to go ahead and find me all the images it has in its library for hippos, but it's also going to give me the ability to match it to the palette that I may already be using in my video project. So, do I want a blue hippo? Do I want a happy hippo? Do I want a green hippo? All of these little buttons tell me the options that I can pull up so that I can get project images that match my project. If you've ever put something together, you know how jarring it can be when you obviously switch to stock images or stock video. Now, you're not going to get that with Shutterstock because Shutterstock is all about the labs. Now, the other things that you may not know about Shutterstock is that everything is curated with professional contributors. You're not going to get a lot of amateurish video clips or photographs that just don't quite look right or things that are going to need a lot of Photoshop time. Everything you pull down is ready to go from the minute you finish your download. Not only that, but Shutterstock will curate that content for you. It's not just a library. It's not just a queuable database. It's not just a place to get exactly what you're looking for. It's a place to give you ideas. And really, isn't that what you want out of your stock photo and video service? Now, right now, for TWiT listeners, you can choose a program that has flexible pricing. You can choose individual image deals to download up to 25 images a day. You can choose a standard subscription. You could download any image at any size and pay only one price. You can choose from any of the 385,000 images that are added each and every single week. So you're going to find what you're looking for. Now, Shutterstock is a global marketplace, so you're going to find that stock photo, that stock video, no matter what you need, no matter from what part of the world you're looking for, and TWiT wants to help you. Right now, you can try Shutterstock for free by signing up for a free account. No credit card is needed. Just start an account and begin using Shutterstock to help you imagine what your next project could be. That's right. Just use the offer code TWiT415, that's TWiT415, and new accounts will receive 20% off image subscription packages. That's Shutterstock.com for 20% off image subscription packages on new accounts. And remember, use the offer code TWiT415. NAB isn't all just about cameras, screens, and drones. You've also got a fair share of high-quality audio, which is why we stopped by here at the Audio-Technica booth. And I'm speaking with Brent Chamberlain, who's going to explain some of the new products AT has for those folks who want high-quality audio. Brent, thank you very much for talking to us.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, with with a lot of video, everything like that, everyone's kind of starting to realize that audio is an important aspect of that, and you need to be able to hear with your video. So Audio-Technica has been pretty big as far as with coming out with some innovative designs with microphones. Today we're actually debuting our BP40, which is our large diaphragm dynamic microphone. Very similar to the popular RE20, Shure, SM7 microphones for broadcast, everything like that. Very similar design to that, so rugged build on that. A different frequency curve on this, so it actually has a nice bump right there in that Fletcher-Munson curve. Very popular for voice. We did some recordings with it. Very nice tone to it. Just another option for our customers to kind of decide what's going to work best for their sound.
I've been using Audio-Technica AT2020 condenser mics in my personal studio for a while, and I've lamented two things. One, that it wasn't a big dynamic mic, and two, that it was side-firing. This is perfect for broadcasters because it's a front-firing mic, and it does have that. It has that big bottom, that big boom that broadcasters like so much. What about pricing and availability? So if someone was saying, hey, I'd like to start up my own podcasting network, I want good sounding audio, I'd love to get a couple of these, where would they go and how much would they expect to pay?
Yeah, so you can pick this up through any authorized Audio-Technica dealer. Same price point as those other microphones that I mentioned. So double check with your dealer for pricing. These are going to be available July-ish. So end of June, early July is when we're expecting to have these out.
Now, this is one option for people who want to broadcast, and it's sort of a higher-end option. You're going to need a decent soundboard and something to record, but Audio-Technica also does have some unique products, if we go over right here, that plug straight into your editing machine or device. Now, this I've seen and I know about. This is the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB. We've seen this on Before You Buy. It's a review show, and it's a fantastic model. It is all the quality of an AT2020, but all the convenience of having that USB interface. You have a new product for the show, specifically for those people with Lightning-equipped devices. Tell me about it.
Exactly. Just one quick correction there for you. This is the USB Plus that we have here. The USB is actually being discontinued and replaced by the AT2020 USB Plus, which has the headphone out there. So we are debuting today the 2020 USB-I. So that is going to be able to plug directly right into your iPhone and your iPad. And so what it has on the bottom there, it is a Lightning connector. So that'll go into your popular new iPhone or your iPhone, old iPhone if you still have that, or your iPad. And basically you just pull up any recording software that's going to allow for an external microphone, and you are on the run. So if you need to pick up and go do an audio recording somewhere, you pick up your 2020 USB-I, plug it into your iPhone, and you have high-quality audio sound coming from your 2020 microphone that everybody knows and loves.
What I've always liked about Audio-Technica's approach is you fill the full range. If you want a good studio mic, you're going to go ahead and get the BP40. If you want something that's for field recording, so you want to be able to make decent recordings, but you need to be on the go, so it has to be small, it has to be light, and it has to have a simple interface, you go with something like this, either a USB or a Lightning connector. If they wanted to find out more about Audio-Technica's entire range of products for production, where can they go?
If you just go to our website, we've got everything there, so www.audio-technica.com. We're also on all the social media. If you go to Audio-Technica USA on Facebook, Instagram, you know they're all out there. You could always give us a call as well. I'm Brendan in the Audio Solutions Department. We're here to answer your calls.
Brent, thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing the Audio-Technica magic, and you stay tabbed because we've got more from NAB 2015. If you've watched TWiT TV, you probably saw our review of a Blackmagic camera, a studio camera not too long ago on Before You Buy. A fantastic piece of work, a 4K camera at a price point that most were selling 1080p's. Well, that trend continues. We're back here at the Blackmagic Design studio here at NAB 2015, and I'm standing next to Kendall Ekman, who's going to explain what they've released at the show. Kendall, thank you very much for talking to us.
Sure, no problem.
Now, I've noticed that's small. This is really, really small. Explain to me what I'm looking at.
So this is the Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K. So with this camera, it's a live camera. You can actually go through and shoot your sports, any kind of documentaries that you want, live footage. And what you can do is, with the expansion port here, you can see, you get all your protocols for pan, tilt, and zoom. Then you also get micro four thirds lens mount. Now, with this expansion port, we did add in the option to go to a B4 lens. So you can go to a B4 with a ring adapter on there, which people have been asking for, so we added that one in there. And then the other thing we've done is we added in a video assist, because as you can see, this camera doesn't have any of the monitoring that you would have on it. So what you can do is you can mount this on top so you can see your monitoring as you need to go along here. And this does have SDI out, SDI in, HDMI out and in. Swinging around here, you can record SD card on this also, and your headphone jack. So it's a touchscreen, full 1920 by 1080 screen on here, so you can do all your monitoring. You can see you have mounting bolts on the top and on the bottom. So, but anyway, you can do all your sports live coverage, and you can do, again, pan, tilt, and zoom on this, SDI in and out. And if we swing around here, you can see you get your headphone jack and your mic control on this.
Kendall, I haven't seen a full functional 4K camera like this in this size format. I mean, the closest would be something from GoPro, which, that's a specialty tool. If we move over to the next one, you show another iteration of this format, which is this sort of, it's almost a POV, very small size format, but this one actually records on camera. Is this more or less for the same sort of functions?
Well, this is a different camera in the sense that you're going to record onto SD card. So this is the Blackmagic cinema camera, micro cinema camera, and you can record the SD card here. You can record in the flavors of ProRes. You can also record in DNX RAW. Excuse me, Cinema DNG RAW. And as you can see here, let me spin it back around so you can see the front. You have a record button right on the front. You have a tally light. We came out with the original pocket cinema camera, and a lot of people were using those in tight spaces, whether it was inside of a car, maybe trying to do some remote length control stop-start recording on it, but they couldn't tell if it was recording. This has a nice tally light on the front, has your options on it as far as recording to an SD card, like I said, with those formats, but it has 13 stops of dynamic range with the micro 4/3 lens mount, so you have many options there as far as what lenses you can put on it, and obviously you're going to get a lot of high-quality film look with the 13 stops of dynamic range.
I got to ask price points on these, and who's your intended audience?
Well, for this one, I mean, really anyone that wants to use it. I mean, this camera in particular, with the form factor, the expansion port, so you can do wireless controls on it, radio controls. Really, you can get it up into a drone. You can put it into the quadcopters. Maybe you want to do length control to do stop-start recording on this, control the iris, maybe the focus and the zoom. You'll have the ability from a remote location. So depending on where you're shooting, you may want to put it on a shelf, cover it up and have a book behind it so you can't really see what's going on. Depending on you want to put it for sports or things like that, you can do it for that too.
And price points?
This is $1,000.
Yes. All right, so we've gone from the small units, which are fantastic, especially for the functionality that they offer. But now let's go ahead and take a look at something big, or actually something very small. This is the Mini. I was kind of salivating over this before we started rolling tape. Explain what you've done.
So we came out last year with the original Ursa camera, and as you remember with that camera, if you've seen it, beautiful camera, had a 10-inch pop-out screen, has your scopes. You can do all your videos on the side of the camera. But really, people wanted something a little more compact, something that they could handhold, portable, that they could roll around, put on their shoulder, lightweight. This camera's 5 pounds. So now you have the ability to throw it on your shoulder. You can see we have an additional, for $395, you can add on 3 products here, basically in a package that come with a shoulder mount, this extension arm, and then the top handle here. So as you get the camera itself, it will come with this handle here that you have a record button on it. Has rosettes built into it on the camera so that you can actually take the handle, you can put it on the extension arm, or you can put it on the side of the camera here. Has your reference in, SDI out, time code, all that stuff's built into it. Like the original Ursa camera, has a Super 35 size sensor, and you can get up to 60 frames a second in this in 4K. So as we swing around here, one other thing I should mention is the viewfinder. So we have a new Blackmagic viewfinder here. It's beautiful optical glass. It gets a full 1920 by 1080 HD inside there, and you can pull up focus charts, you can pull up focus peaking on this. Has an OLED in there that's sensitive to the eye when it comes up, so it turns on and off so you don't burn out the OLED. It's really nice. You can add it on the Ursa Mini that we're looking at here, or you can also add it on the original Ursa camera. One other thing I should say while we're on this camera is the update that we came out with on the original Ursa is that you can update that now to get the 4.6K on that. Just like you can do this, we have 4 different models of this camera. You can do the 4K or the 4.6. And the differences between the 4 and the 4.6 are 12 stops of dynamic range. Now you can get up to 15 stops of dynamic range with the 4.6K.
Speaking of the Ursa, let's go ahead and take a look at this updated design. Now, this is sort of the studio camera that kicked it all off. This is the one that really made your bones in this space. What have you changed?
Really just the sensor. The sensor is the thing that we said last year that was going to be user upgradable, and we've come to that point in time now where we have a sensor that's available, as we said, the 4.6K, to get you that 15 stops of dynamic range.
There is one last very interesting announcement from Blackmagic, and that's, well, the introduction of a new suite. For those people who like to film with Blackmagic products, you've decided to make something that just works well natively. Tell me about DaVinci.
So DaVinci Resolve 12 is our new release here, and over time we've been building editing features into Resolve. We've had a number of editors that said, hey, we're working in this editor, this nonlinear editor. We'd love if you had a few of those tweaks in there so we can go back and forth seamlessly or just continue on with our editing. We added in, actually, if I click on here, we can go through, and you can see the multiple cuts that we have in here, but you can go through slip, slide. All of the professional tools that you would need in an editor have been added in. We also have multicam in here now, too. You can do 16 cameras in here now, full multicam. addition of audio features, VST plugins. We enhance the interface, media management tools. We go in here. I see my mouse isn't working, but you'll have to take my word for it and look at the website, but there's 80 new features that we've added in here with metadata tags, things like that to go through and be able to find and search for your data easily.
Kendall, thank you very much for talking to us. Now, if they wanted to find out more information about your cameras, about your editing suite, where do they go?
Blackmagicdesign.com.
There you go. I'm Father Robert Ballecer here at the Blackmagic Designs booth. NAB 2015 just got a bit more magical. So far at NAB, we've talked a lot about cameras, about audio, even about drones, but one of the things we haven't yet touched on is compositing software and VR software, what you need to actually take your production to the next level. That's why we're here at the Foundry booth, and I'm standing next to Philippa Carroll, who's going to explain, well, what they've got and what you can do with it. Thank you very much for talking to us.
No problem. It's nice to see you.
Now, Foundry is known as a compositing expert. That's what you do. You put the effect into special effects. What are you releasing here at the show?
So this year at the show, we're showcasing the latest update to our Nuke 9 range. So that's our compositing software, the core of it all. So there's 3 flavors of it. The one that people will be most familiar with is the traditional Nuke compositing system. So that's the one that, years and years ago used in film. It's now used globally all around the world to make TV ads, commercials, in marketing and advertising. And it kind of solves lots of problems in compositing. And so we're showcasing a whole new range this year, where we have sort of 3 flavors, which is Nuke, Nuke X, and Nuke Studio, that we released at the end of last year. And we're showing that we've added kind of lots of new functionality into that mix, even since the release, which was actually in December last year, just to show kind of how much we're moving it forward and leading technology in that kind of compositing, editorial, and finishing sphere now.
One of the things that Foundry really helped to push forward was this idea of node-based compositing. The idea that you create an object, you define the object, you give it a characteristic, and then you can move it through an environment and the software will actually generate what it would look like from that particular camera angle. How does that continue through the line? How have you improved it as you go through the different levels of software?
Oh, that's a great question. So Nuke was our base, as I mentioned. So it's a kind of fully featured node-based compositor. And so traditionally was, as I mentioned again, used in sort of very high-end film. When we added Nuke X to the range, we really worked with our research team to develop lots of very clever problem-solving plugins, which all went into the Nuke X product. And they're largely used in environments where people are creating TV ads specifically, where you need lots of extra tools in there so that you can get things done really fast and turn them around really quickly. And those are things like a camera tracker that's built in. There's things like a planar tracker in there. Basically a whole toolkit so that you can model builder as well, do all of the work that perhaps in a more traditional environment might be going to different people to do jobs. Actually, you as the compositor can do a lot of that yourself now.
Let's talk about that idea of doing something yourself, because of course that's one of the things that Foundry is famous for, this idea of turning one person into a one-man shop. There is something on the horizon, however, and that's this idea of immersive environments, immersive entertainment, specifically 360 entertainment for the Oculus Rift and for VR and AR products. You've actually got a leg up because Foundry's been working on that for a while.
Yes, what we've been doing is working, so some of our customers have been looking into that kind of world of work over the last sort of year or so, I guess, and we've been working closely with them to see how we can kind of potentially help some of the problems that they're facing. So today people are using the Foundry's tools like Nuke to try and deal with the complexities of building a virtual world. And we're showing actually a demo on the booth right now, which is a very kind of early days research tech preview to kind of showcase some of the workflows that we've been building to try and solve the problems.
Well, what I like about that is because it's the same workflow, that same composited shot that you've created for that special effects scene in a movie could then be broken out as a VR model for people to actually look around, or for you to maybe even use it in a different type of filmmaking. Philippa, thank you very much for talking to us. If they wanted to find out more about Foundry, about Nuke, about any of the products that you have on offer, where should they go?
Go to our website. So it's thefoundry.co.uk. So London email, London web address. You can find out everything you want to see there. So the demos that we've shown on the AR, VR kind of workflows will all be live streamed on there. So hopefully very soon, in the next day or so.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer. We've got more from NAB, but before you do that, maybe you should go ahead and practice some special effects. When you think of Microsoft, you probably think of data centers, desktops, tools to control your data. You probably don't think of Microsoft as a way to control your assets, and definitely not a way to control your workflow. Well, here at PrimeStream at NAB 2015, I'm standing next to Warren Ehrenstein, who's going to explain why Azure may be your next workflow master. Thank you very much for talking to us.
It's a real pleasure, and you're correct, Father. It is time to start thinking of Microsoft as the place to manage your assets. They've built a remarkable media services platform, this Azure. It's the ability in the cloud to manage large amounts of content, create collaborative workflows between multiple locations, and allow people to do all the things that they've really had to depend on massive physical infrastructures to do it now in the cloud. It's really exciting to be partnering with a company like Microsoft.
When I think of asset management on a large scale, especially remotely, I'm thinking of Cameron and filming The Abyss or filming Avatar, where you have these huge asset files that are just difficult to share, and it's very difficult to work in a collaborative fashion without shipping a hard drive across the world. You've kind of come up with a solution for that. Can you show us how this works?
Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure. What we've got here, our interface here, allows us to collect large quantities of content, to be able to view this content and annotate the content. A really important part of this process is to be able to do things like create markers. And these individual frames now, I can associate specific bits of metadata with this marker. And anybody else on the system then is going to be able to see that kind of information. I can also create subclips, little ranges of information within the clip that I can give feedback to my coworkers that this is an important part of the clip. And like you referenced, Father, that James Cameron is creating huge amounts of content. Well, guess what? We're all creating huge amounts of content these days. Everybody's generating content, and everybody needs a system to be able to manage it and to be able to share it across remote locations. And that's what we're having the backbone of a company like Microsoft to allow us to do that. It's really gratifying. We're the tool set on top of that to allow people to do these kinds of workflows.
One of the things that I really like about your solution is the ability to proxy various versions of an asset. So for example, let's say you've got a day of shooting. Well, you can upload that to PrimeStream working off of Azure, and then you can have versions on YouTube that people will pull down, they'll annotate, they'll say, you know what, this one I would prefer to use in this place, this one I would prefer to use in this place, this I would like to pull the full asset file down, and they can really choose how they integrate into the workflow rather than you telling them this is how the workflow is, you got to figure out how you're going to fit.
Absolutely. We don't always have the pleasure of being direct connected to the internet, hardwired through level 3. Not everybody's got that kind of bandwidth at home. So the ability to choose multiple versions of the clip and choose through the different resolutions, and then as Father indicated, to publish these let me update that there. Just a couple of minutes ago, we published this clip from here, our Azure demo. Here it is on YouTube. I can comment on it right from here. I can create a string of comments about it. So you can see that we're utilizing our tool set and taking advantage of what the internet already provides to provide and enable these really powerful media sharing workflows.
Warren, thank you very much for talking to us.
It's been my pleasure, Father.
Now,
thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
If they want to find out more about PrimeStream, about what PrimeStream can do for them, where do they go?
PrimeStream.com. That's at www.primestream.com.
There you have it. PrimeStream plus Azure, your next workflow. If you've been following developments at the Brick House, you know that we recently switched over from Final Cut on the Mac to Adobe Premiere Pro on the PC. Well, it wasn't just because we could get faster PCs than we could Macs. It wasn't just because it helped with the workflow. It's because Adobe is absolutely killing it with features. I'm standing next to Patrick, who's going to explain what those killer features are. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Well, thanks for coming by. And indeed, we have a lot of new exciting things to show here. So the thing that got me the most excited, because my background is with color, is the new color workflow in Premiere. So that's certainly the top feature. So we have everything reimagined. For one thing, now there are the Lumetri scopes coming over from Speaker. So you have the real-time analysis capabilities coming over. Then there's the more important part, which is the creative tools, which are completely reimagined. So it's a Lightroom-style UI, easy to grasp. A lot of people will feel right at home with it. And it's got a lot of tools that are specific for video editors, but it's all in one place. So you no longer need to find the effect and bring it to the clip. Best of all, it's intrinsic. So if you go from clip to clip, you can actually just keep it in the color workspace. And you don't need to think about whether or not these tools are actually affecting what's in the monitor. It will always be on target. And then there's something else that ties into it, which is great, which is a capture app we've got, which is called Project Candy. We're showing that for the first time. So that's a new mobile technology which will allow you to create looks on the go. So whenever inspiration strikes, you can actually capture the essence of color and light and make that part of your project, because it's directly connected to Premiere Pro and After Effects via Creative Cloud libraries.
Now, one of the things that I have noticed over the last couple of years is color unmatching, let's call it icky color, is no longer acceptable even in the amateur realm. It's become so easy to match your colors, to do it right, that you need it to look right. You need it to look good. And if you give me tools that will match it for me, that will give me correct color across all my clips, well, I'm sold. Now, tell me about that interview feature again, because something that I've seen is you have these interviews with a single camera, and jump cuts always look, well, jumpy. You fixed that.
I wouldn't say we fixed that, because you could before too, but it was a lot of effort. And making it look good, making it look right, you know, sometimes there's simply no time for it, or you might want to do something that's a bit more elaborate, like indeed removing the jump cut. Now, people who are using After Effects are probably very well aware how you would do that, removing that, but it's a lot of work. So we now have a new feature we're very excited to show you at NAB, which is called Morph Cut. And that's really a new type of transition between two clips. So two jump cuts, you can actually seamlessly connect one with the other by using some clever warping on pixel level. So it goes frame by frame. It's looking at what's the difference there. Clearly there's a person in it, which is the most important thing you care about. And then we're actually really making that go from one into the other. And if you carefully look at what's there to begin with, you will actually create excellent results. No one will notice that it wasn't actually one piece.
Now, one last bit. I've heard a rumor that you've made it easy for me to create a project that's a certain length. Now, this doesn't sound like a big thing, but anyone who's ever had to turn in something on a deadline knows that fighting for those last 2 or 3 seconds where you have to speed something up or slow something down can be an absolute pain. You've taken the pain out.
Right, so that's another thing where I think creativity matters, but, you know, tweaking something just for a technical reason shouldn't be in the way. And so if you think about how that's done right now, it's pretty much micro-editing. You're trying to find the 4 frames here and the 5 frames there to make a 3-minute project go to, you know, 2 minutes 57. It's actually a tricky thing to do. What can you miss? Because you've probably had a pretty good craft at it before. Why can't you just keep it that way? And so what the new feature called Time Tuner is doing is, on output, you can actually decide -10, +10% to make it longer or shorter, so you can actually put it into exactly the spot you've been given, rather than going back and changing everything. Also cool, if you need to produce multiple outputs, and one of them has to be just slightly shorter, then you're not going to go back. You have the same piece of media you're going to output, but with that new feature, it's not going to be time-consuming. It's going to be true to the original edit, true.
Patrick, thank you very much for talking to us. Now, of course, if they want to find out more about Adobe, they should go to the Adobe website, which is going to be...
Well, the best place is probably blogs.adobe.com. There you will definitely find the blog here directly from NAB. Adobe.com in general will have all the information you want. If you're here, then most definitely come and see us. We're in the South Hall. It's a booth that hopefully is hard to miss for you guys. It's also always very crowded, so make sure you come early, get a seat for our presentation. We have very exciting guest presenters here, so we love to have our customers talk about our products rather than me doing that. So if you're here, please come and see us. And we also have a live webcast on Thursday. You will see that that also on the blog with details as to where to go. We have Jason Levine presenting, and a couple of us will be on Twitter, we'll be on the chat pod, so check it out. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Here at NAB, the message is, get on Team Adobe. At NAB 2015, we've taken a look at hardware, we've taken a look at some software, we've taken a look at workflow, but now we need to look at some of the software that ties it all together. And here to help us with that problem is Marcus Scholler from Autodesk. Marcus, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Glad to be at NAB 2015. We've got a lot of exciting news that we want to talk about.
Let's start with that exciting news. You've got some of the hottest software on the planet in Maya and in Shotgun and in Flame. Tell me, what's new for the show?
So we've got new releases for all of those products, Maya, Flame, 3ds Max, Shotgun. 2016 version. So I think I'll start with Flame very quickly. There's a number of new things that are going on there that are exciting. Creative tools, workflow capabilities, performance. Creative capabilities, there's a tool called Lightbox, which we're very excited about. It's a look development tool that people can use inside of a 3D compositing environment that basically allows them to cast color correction with lights. So you put a light in 3D space, you shine it in a direction, and it does a white balance or a bleach bypass, and it affects whatever it touches in 3D space. It's very cool, very exciting.
So instead of color correcting the entire clip, I can shoot the right colored light onto my subject and fix it that way.
Well, that's the idea. I wouldn't say you're shooting the right colored light. You're shooting a color correction effect. So whether it's a lift gamma gain or whatever, of course you can also use a light. If you want to shine a yellow light on something, that's fine. But and the nice thing about this is it allows you to position things in a way where you don't have to do it after. You don't need to necessarily have vignetting or windows that are outlining areas. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is going to replace a color correction workflow, but this is a very useful tool for look development. Then there's performance. Performance is always important in Flame workflows, and we've sped up the proxy workflow, we've sped up the exporting, we've sped up action rendering, so there's a lot of enhancements there. And the overall workflow is more connected, plus it's part of a Shotgun workflow, so that's a very important addition. Maya 2016 is a huge release. Animation performance has been supercharged. We see like performance boosts from 2x to 5x, depending on what people are trying to do with their animations, even higher. There are new additions to the Bifrost liquid simulation tool set, which is really cool in terms of adding foam, in terms of bubbles, white water, that kind of thing that adds to a realistic effect. As well as a feature called camera adaptivity, which basically allows you to focus more of the processing of the simulation in areas that the camera are looking at. So things that are farther away would get less intensive processing. Things that are off camera you don't worry about, but you can really focus on the high resolution things that are close up where you need to see the detail that makes the simulation real. Ease of use, the Maya UI has been tweaked a bit. There's some new icons, a new look to it, a little bit of rearranged functionality, making discoverability easier for people coming into the application. But the important thing about those icons is it also allows the UI to scale from say, a tablet all the way up to a bigger 4K or higher display device, which is very important. So I covered Maya, Bifrost, animation performance. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, so I got to just go through my checklist in my head here.
Well, we still have, we got to talk about Shotgun, and we got to talk about Max.
Yeah, so why don't we do Max? So Max 2016, there's also a lot to talk about there in terms of collaboration with XREF renovations, which make XREF workflows for non-destructive animation better. Ease of use, there's a new templating system that makes it easy to get up and running quickly with your visualizations, say architectural setups or pack shot setups or different things like that, so you don't have to worry about environment, lights, units, that kind of thing. And also getting a quick render out with a new physical camera. So these are things that are meant to speed the ease of use. But I think the big one that we're really excited about in 3ds Max 2016 is something called the Max Creation Graph, which is a procedural tool creation environment, which basically allows users to extend the capabilities to build their own modifier tools using a node system to build up whatever tools they can extend the tool set how they want. And we're very excited about that one because we think the community will get on board with this and create tools that they can share, much like how we've seen in the past, for instance, with Max scripts, which were a big part of in extending the capabilities of the application. So then there's Shotgun. So Shotgun, we're really excited about Shotgun. It's part of the portfolio. We acquired them last summer. More recently, we also acquired a company called TWiT Software, which makes a product called RV, which is a viewer. So now Shotgun customers in Shotgun 6 will get will get the RV tool set as part of that. So they don't have to get an additional seat. Shotgun will give them the RV capabilities. There are a number of other things as well that are part of Shotgun we're pretty excited about. Different kinds of templates for different types of project setups, as well as a more sort of hierarchy system where you can set up hierarchies that are dependent on the kind of project you're working on, as opposed to just a single kind of one sort of hierarchy that dictates what your workflow is going to be. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot more information for anybody who's interested in our website, area.autodesk.com. But it's going to be, it's a big show. We're very excited to be here.
Thank you so very much for talking to us, and thank you for sharing some of the latest and greatest in software. I'm Father Robert Ballecer. We're going to bring you more from NAB 2015. If you're watching this right now, it means that you're watching a stream that was broadcast wirelessly from the show floor here at NAB 2015 to the Brick House using a LiveU, a fantastic device that we've been using since CES. Now, LiveU has recently decided to rock our world by releasing this. This is the LU200. It's smaller, it's more capable, and, well, you can mount it on your camera. Standing next to me is Mike, who's going to explain to me the finer features of the LU200. Thank you very much for talking to us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, LiveU, I will admit, I was a doubter. At CES 2015, we decided we were going to use it for the first time. I thought there's no way that it's going to survive. There's so much wireless garbage on the show floor, it's going to drop out. And anyone can go to our CES footage right now and see that it did HD, and it did it clearly. What's the secret behind LiveU?
Well, we've been in business for a long time, right? The company was founded in 2006, and really since then we've been trying to perfect the art of using cellular modems, cellular capability as a way to transmit video. So we've built our algorithms in such a way that we take advantage of all the bandwidth that's available, and also we've invested in RF technology in all of our products that helps us to actually reach cell towers that are much further than the standard cell phone can reach. So the combination of our algorithms, the processing power of our systems, and the special RF technology built into our products allows us to deliver a very reliable solution that's used by thousands of broadcasters around the world today.
Now, for those people who may not be completely comfortable with the technology, they may not know about it, it bonds multiple cellular channels so that we can get an aggregate throughput. One of the things that I've seen here at the show already at the Panasonic booth was a LiveU integrated camera, the 270, I believe, from Panasonic, which they just demoed for me here, allows me to control from the remote side what my camera is doing. Is that really what you've designed the 200 to do?
So it's a little bit of a different capability. The 200 is a multi-modem solution, so you can actually support up to 4 modems in the LU200, 4 simultaneous cell phone connections that you can use to broadcast video. The Panasonic, and there's a new breed of video cameras that are coming out that actually have IP connectivity built into them. And so you can connect to a LAN, you can connect to Wi-Fi, you can connect to an LTE straight from the camera and now stream right directly off of a camera without bonding. Of course, you're limited to a single connection and whatever the realities of that single connection are, but you can actually stream in some cases directly off the camera. So for those cameras, we've built a system that allows us to ingest directly into our remote cloud-based control and management solution called LiveU Central, giving our broadcast customers an even better way to manage all of their content and all of the devices for video acquisition.
Now, that's actually the secret sauce, because people are looking at this and they're saying, oh, it's just hardware. But it's not hardware. The hardware is great. It's fantastic. And hopefully you'll talk about the specs of this a bit later. But it's that back end. It's what LiveU offers that makes it actually work.
Yeah, the cloud-based management system is really the key to the future for LiveU, honestly. Cloud-based management of all the ingest points and being able to control your systems in the field so that the people that are in the field with the unit don't have to be experts in order to operate it. They really just have to know how to turn it on. And then everything else can be done from the control room. So really, the cloud-based management solution is the overall workflow for IP-based ingest for any television station going forward.
All right, so take me through this. What features do I have on this LU200?
So this is a system we're very, very proud of. This is basically the culmination of the last 9 years of investment that we've made into this technology and shrinking this down to the point where we can really offer a very cost-effective, very high-performance offering for really anybody that wants to broadcast. So this is the LU200 platform. These little feet here on the end are actually the RF antennas for the 2 internal modems, the 2 internal cellular modems that we have inside the system. So we have 2 LTE modems built into the systems with unique antenna technology that allows us to attach to that cell tower again in a very reliable, very robust way. In addition, we have external connectors for 2 USB slots, 1 on each side. You can actually attach 2 additional USB-based LTE modems as well, so you have a total capacity of 4 modems on this system. We also have built-in Ethernet, so if you have a LAN connection available, you can actually plug that right in and you can connect through that. There's built-in Wi-Fi as well, so if you happen to be near a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can connect to that as well. It has the same internal processing capability as our flagship LU500 product, and really does a great job at broadcasting video if you're in a good, strong LTE area.
One of the other features that you showed me with this was the ability to link it up with a wireless device, say your phone, and broadcast from your device through the LiveU out to the net.
Well, actually what we have, so in addition to our appliances, we also have an application that will use the capabilities of your phone to broadcast live video from your phone. So the LU Smart application, which runs on any standard cell phone, such as an Android device or an iPhone, you can actually use that directly to generate a 1080p picture and broadcast using both channels of your phone, your Wi-Fi channel and your cellular channel.
Thank you so very much for demonstrating this for us, for telling us about the capabilities of your new products. If they want to find out more, where do they go to find out about your hardware and your service?
www.liveu.tv.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer. This has been NAB 2015. We're at the LiveU booth, and get streaming. So you're a content creator. You're a content producer. You've got yourself a nice 4K camera, a nice 1080p camera, whatever it might be, along with a nice audio setup. But now you want to take that next step. You want to start broadcasting live. Well, there are a couple of different solutions, but one of the best is here at Teradek. I'm standing next to Topher, who's going to explain what Teradek has done with the new VDU.
All right, so the VDU, it's been a very popular product for us. Very simple. You just connect to the internet and go live. That's all it is. That's all you have to do. So now we've expanded that, and now we have the VDU Pro. So the hardware inside is all upgraded. Just everything about it's better. We have better Wi-Fi chip, but we still have the same features that everybody loves. And now we have ShareLink, and ShareLink is bonding with the VDU. So now you can bond multiple cellular devices with Ethernet, with Wi-Fi, put them all together to get a solid feed straight to the web. This is huge for independent content creators who are out on the go at a place like a trade show. They're not getting Wi-Fi right now. They could be broadcasting straight from their cell phone or from 4 cell phones all at the same time, aggregating that feed and sending straight to the web. So that's huge for us. And also the VDU the VDU Pro is only $9.99.
That's actually groundbreaking, because I have seen products like this that will do aggregation, that will do bonding of multiple broadband channels, but at that price point, I know that they don't know. Just know. Now let's talk a little bit more about this product, because as you can see, it's mountable on top of a camera, so it really is designed to be portable, and it will take what kind of inputs?
HDMI input. So any camera with an HDMI source, the VDU Pro will take it out. And that's for all of our VDU lineup, from the Mini to the VDU to the Pro. They all take HDMI. So this is your simple streaming solution.
Now, this is one of the best ways to get online and streaming live if you are using a setup like this. If you've got an existing camera, if you've got a nice audio setup, and it's $1,000, it will be available when?
So it's summer. And luckily, we're talking early summer. So we're talking end of May, maybe early June at the latest. But I mean, this thing is almost ready to rock and roll. And it's going to have higher bit rates than the original VDU. So your stream is going to look really crisp, clean, for under $1,000. It's the perfect solution.
There will be some sort of subscription fee, because there has to be a back-end recombination of those various channels that you've bonded. But let's go ahead and move on to something else. If you don't have this professional setup, if you don't have this kind of camera and audio, maybe you want to go with something a little lighter, which is why we've got the VDU Mini. Now, Topher, what is this?
This is the VDU Mini. So it's just like the Pro, how we enhanced it. We took everything we loved about the original VDU and we just shrunk it down into a tiny little box. And now with that tiny little box, we have a 3-hour lithium-ion battery life. So you can go live for hours just from this tiny little VDU Mini. It's perfect. Perfect little solution for streaming to the web. And it doesn't do bonding, but it does take hotspot from a cell phone. So I could go snowboarding, turn on my hotspot, put my phone in my pocket, and now I'm streaming my GoPro footage straight to everybody online.
And what's the price point and availability on the Mini?
The VDU Mini is already available. It's been shipping, and it's $4.99.
Now, I got to ask you, because people are going to look back and forth, and they're going to say, all right, well, if I need to decide, if I need to buy a solution so that I can get myself online, live broadcasting, what's the criteria? When would you choose the Pro? When would you choose the Mini?
I believe, it's really, ask yourself, okay, do I need insane bit rate? What do I need? Do I need battery life? Do I need portability? Am I just doing a simple single camera, going out, For me, for my personal use, I use a Video Mini. I don't need the Pro. It doesn't fit into my criteria. But then you've got guys that have their webcast productions, and they need something that's solid, reliable, and just going to work all the time. That's a Video Pro. I mean, especially the bonding. The bonding really gets me. It's bonding for $1,000. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Topher, thank you very much for talking to us. If they wanted to find out more information about Teradek, about Video Pro, about the Mini, where do they go?
They're going to go to Teradek.com, but I have something else to share with you. Oh, no. So all of our video devices all go to a new app, an iPad application that we have, and it's called Live to Air. And it's an editing suite for your iPad. So what that means, you can feed your camera source in, and now you can add titles, you can add scoreboards, you can do pre-recorded material, you can do transitions, and the best part, it's also a switcher. So now I can run 3 videos. I can run 3 Video Minis or 3 Video Pros, doesn't matter. I can run those all to my iPad, and I am now switching. I am a full live production. I am adding chroma key. I am doing artistic transitions. I have a T-bar for manual adjustment, all from my iPad for only $99.
Thank you, Topher. Now, you've heard it here. Whether you're a Pro or a Mini, you got to go with Teradek. Here at NAB 2015, you're going to see a lot of electronic stabilizers. They're good devices. In fact, I build a lot of those into my quadcopters. But if you want smooth, organic, beautiful motion, there's nothing quite like having a mechanical balancer. That's why we're here at Glidecam, and I'm standing next to Thomas Howie, who's going to explain what they've got for every type of camera. Thomas, thank you very much for talking to us.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time. Thanks for coming by to say hello. Let me show you a little bit of what we're offering here at the NAB 2015. We have, this is our handheld line of stabilizers here. We have the Glidecam iGlide, great for cameras up to 1 pound, GoPros, iPhones. The Glidecam XR 1000, good for cameras from 8 ounces up to 3.5 pounds, so you can get GoPros on here as well. Even the T3Is, kind of stripped down in the more basic format. Glidecam XR 2000, 2 to 6 pound design. Again, DSLRs, compact cameras, and then the HD 2000. So this is kind of a range going from 0 to about 6 pounds. So this is going to encompass all the cameras up to DSLR.
Thomas, I have to ask you, there's going to be people out there who say, wait a minute, why would I buy something like this that's purely mechanical? Why wouldn't I get one of those gyro-stabilized units that has a little joystick to control the camera? What's the difference in quality of pan when I go with the pure manual?
Well, I got to tell you, that's a great question. And there's a few reasons that you would want to go with a mechanical device. First of all, you're not required to have chargers or batteries, the fragility of it all, and electronics. But then software. They're very glitchy, a lot of these brushless-based systems. And anytime you're dealing with software, you're bound to have problems. They're also providing a system that doesn't have 100% control. This has 100% control. When you have a Glidecam, you're fully in control of everything. It's mechanical. It's USA made. You know what you're getting. And they're a lot lighter than some of these other systems that may be, 9 pounds without a camera on it.
Now, I know that people can't just pick this up and start going. There is some skill involved. So could you really quickly would say with this one, show us how do you use one of these mounts? Because you do have to use 2 hands, and it's sort of an art to feel out how much pressure you put so you get the right motion without jarring it.
Correct. Yeah, let's take a look. So with this XR 2000, for example, it's a 2-hand operation. One hand's on the foam handle here, and the other hand is right underneath the central bearing. So the idea is, when you're using 2 hands, one hand can kind of, boom it in or out, up and down, and the left hand is going to control the panning and the tilting. So as you're moving around, you have the capability with using both hands. Sometimes you're using 1 hand, other times you're using 2 hands to just get the dynamic moves.
So smooth, so smooth. But it takes time to develop this level of talent.
It takes time, it takes practice, but anything that's worth doing takes time and takes practice. That's one of the things with the electronic systems is that the instant gratification of let's get it out of the box, let's put the batteries in and turn it on, and it's going to do all the work. And that's a lot of the philosophy that comes along with that. It's that simple, no learning curve, ready-to-use design. but there's a lot of flaws to that, and it doesn't really work as promised.
All right, let's take me through the rest of the line here, because, of course, it's not just GoPros and small camcorders. You go all the way up.
We go all the way up, and we're really excited about the new Glidecam Devon Graham Signature Series, and that's what we have here. This stand here represents 3 of the same model, but it pretty much opens up the most diverse weight offering of a Glidecam system to date. Cameras from 2 to 12 pounds. So for example, here with the Sony AS7 with the nice Adamus Shogun on it, you'll see here is the Devon Graham here. Great system design, again, all American-made quality. You have this QR dovetail design compatible with the 501 or the various Manfrotto heads. All you're doing is flipping the kip handle, take the dovetail out, integrates, ready to go. 4.5 side-to-side adjust, safety spring latch. This head design is high-end precision, again, USA-made, aluminum, aircraft aluminum design, very rugged. It's designed for extreme applications. The gimbal itself, positionable gimbal, it's positive twist lock. You can move this very easily up and down the post, so you can change your balance and your fulcrum point for low mode or varying cameras, which is great. It's a water-resistant gimbal, so any type of sand or debris, this type of thing, again, extreme type applications, very easy to clean, field serviceable. So we're really excited about that. And to this point, I think this is the best Glidecam that's been offered year to date. And we're also very excited because it's Devon Graham. He has 533 million views on YouTube, millions of followers on social media, and with a great guy like that behind the product, you know you're going to do well.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Now, the big question is going to be, of course, price points and availability, and where will they go if they want to find out more information about Glidecam?
Sure. Price points and availability, key questions. You know, great products, great pricing. And if you want to learn more, you go to glidecam.com, and you can see the full list of the dealer network. But check us out on social media, too, and you'll see all the updates there as well.
Thomas, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer, and if you want to get into stabilized shots, you could turn it on, or you could glide. If you've worked in videography, you probably know what this is. It's, you know, a light panel. It's a way to get LED lighting, and it's very common, except this panel isn't. Now, even a light panel, and of course I know that's a brand name, but even a light panel is a little bulky. It's hard to pack. But what if you could just take that panel and fold it up? Come with me and take a look at the side here. This is not a light panel. This is fabric. This is fabric stretched over a frame that just happens to be interlaced with a bunch of really high quality LEDs. Now, this is what it looks like out of the frame. And as you can see, I have the ability to control both the intensity and the color temperature. I can switch it from pure white to adding in tungsten so that I get that nice brownish gold look. Now, this is the kind of lighting that you're going to want if you've got a mobile kit, because when you're done, you can just fold it up. You can roll it up and be done with it. This is from a company called Nangguang, and they don't have pricing or availability just yet, but you're going to want to check them out if you are developing a mobile videography kit. Stay tabbed, because we're going to bring you more bright ideas from NAB. We've seen a little bit of everything here at CES 2015 in Las Vegas. We've seen cameras that can do 4K. We've seen screens that can do 8K. We've seen drones that can lift your imagination to the skies. And we've seen accessories that are to die for. But one thing that we haven't seen is you. That's right, the person who's going to be the next generation of content producer, content creator. You're going to be the one who's going to take these tools, these pieces of hardware and software, these services, and turn it into the next great show on YouTube or the next great hit that goes on to Netflix. And for that, we thank you. Until we see you in that next generation of production, I'm Father Robert Ballecer, the Digital Jesuit, saying goodbye from NAB 2015.